The Blue Flower of the Castle. In a village lived a shepherd named Arion. His wife's name is Diana. Every morning, Arion grades his sheep in the pasture, while Diana looked after the children in their modest hut. Arion always works hard. However, no matter how hard he worked, he and his wife ran out of food. The ground they were on was still dry and covered only by rocks. Around them, many mountains are covered with snow every year in winter. When sunlight reflects on the snow, the scenery around the mountain becomes very beautiful. Eternal snow is here. Maybe next to this snowy mountain there is a land that has an eternal summer, so there is always food. Arion dreams of going there one day. One day, Arion realized his dream. He abandoned his flock of sheep and gave it to his faithful shepherd dog. Then he walked alone in the mountains with his cane. He walked quite a distance on the uphill trail. He passed through meadows, pine forests, and finally to rocks and cliffs. Arion trudged all day until his leg hurt. Late at night, he looked up and saw an ice castle with a snow-white tower. The top of the castle shimmered in the setting sun. He rubbed his eyes in disbelief. Then a beautiful door in the castle wall opened. Inside, there was a long and dark corridor leading inside. Arion bravely walked down the hallway. Soon he went to a large, bright room. Pure crystal walls, silver floors, and gold ceiling. In the center of the room was a beautiful woman wearing a gorgeous dress. He wears a dewdrop crown. She is holding a beautiful bouquet of blue flowers. Arion had never seen such a flower in his life. This woman is the Queen of Fairies. She is surrounded by other fairies, her maids. When Arion saw all this shimmering splendor, he was speechless and knelt before the Fairy Queen. The Fairy Queen looked at Arion and motioned for him to get up. "Welcome to my palace, dear guest," he said. "This palace has not been visited by visitors from other countries for a long time. Your perseverance and courage are commendable. Go and choose what you want from my castle. You can take silver, gold, or precious stones, as much as you bring." Arion didn't know if he was dreaming or not. She looked around and said, "Thank you, kind Fairy Queen. But if I could choose, give me blue flowers like the one the Queen is holding. These flowers are the rarest I own." And he gave Arion his bouquet of blue flowers. Arion was about to touch the bouquet in the Fairy Queen's hands when everything around him suddenly went dark. When he opened his eyes a moment later, the magnificent hall and the Fairy Queen and her ladies-in-waiting had disappeared. Arion stood alone by the white cliffs of eternal snow. Below him, in a distant valley, he could see the twinkling lights of the huts in his home village. With a bouquet of blue flowers in his hand, Arion ran down the mountainside to his flock. But by the time he reached the pasture, the sheep had disappeared. He looked across the meadow, but the sheep were not there. "Where did my sheep go?" cried Arion desperately. He then ran home. When he opened the door of his hut, his wife stared at him as if she had seen a ghost. "Are you right, husband?" asked Diana, crying. "Where have you been all these years? I almost gave up and thought you were dead." Arion was very surprised when he found out that he had spent a whole year in the Fairy Queen's palace. Meanwhile, the flock of sheep has disappeared because there is no one to care for and look after them. The wolves had eaten it. Arion then remembered the gift the Fairy Queen had given him. Arion smiled. "The sheep are gone, but I brought you blue flowers. Now we are not going to take care of the sheep, but these beautiful blue flowers," said Arion while showing the bouquet of flowers to Diana, his wife. Diana was very happy and fascinated by the beauty of the flower. That night, Arion planted some of the blue flowers in the garden behind the cottage. In the morning, the whole garden and field behind her house turned blue with lots of pretty little flowers. Arion and Diana rubbed their eyes in disbelief. They were even more surprised when in their yard, a beautiful woman appeared in a beautiful dress like a breeze. "He wears a crown of dew. That's the Fairy Queen. Those little flowers are not only beautiful, good people," he said, "but they will also be of use to the people of this village. You too will be a blessing to many people. From these flowers, you can produce thread that can be woven into beautiful cloth. You can give lots of clothes to the poor people around you." The Fairy Queen then told Arion and Diana how to make the fine thread from the plant. He also told how to weave the threads so that they become fine cloth. And before the couple could thank them, the departing queen had disappeared like a flake of snow. They remembered the Fairy Queen's advice. Since then, every spring, the Good Shepherd sowed all the meadows with blue flower seeds. And every winter, his wife would spin the thin thread from the plant and weave a beautiful white cloth as white as snow. Diana and Arion taught their villagers how to spin the thread from the flower and weave it into cloth. Finally, they and the villagers were no longer short of clothes. They didn't lack food either. They even became rich because city people, even people from other countries, came to their village to buy their cloth at high prices.